Hello everybody. Today I will start a new chapter. It is about solid waste and solid waste management. Now time started to be count down. Last 4 weeks for semester to finish. So let's start with the new chapter. All types of human activity produce diverse residues called waste. And these differ in terms of quantity and quality and in their properties from one country to another. So as a quantity and quality, solid waste produced from different countries show differences. And their properties, characteristics are different too. Waste treatment methods also vary according to the circumstances and capabilities of the respective countries. So there are different types of waste treatment methods and disposal methods. In the coming lectures, you will get some ideas about this topic. First of all, we should define what is waste. A waste is a material which is already used, which is no longer required, needs to be discarded, and primarily generated by human activities. So something has been used, you don't need any longer, it needs to be disposed, and one of the main things also, it is mostly generated by human activities. This is the definition of waste. Wastes are not found in nature, but as I explained here, can be generated from various activities of human being, such as industrial, agricultural, and any other human activities. Some waste must be disposed of because there is no chance of putting them to use again. Wastes could be cost-effective resources, as they might contain components that can be appropriately used. So there might be some really still valuable resources can be taken from the waste. Waste is usually classified according to their original condition, source of generation, or magnitude of hazard. So in coming slides, I will explain you classification of wastes based on different characteristics. There are some few definitions related with the solid waste. You will be hearing this in your life. Refuse. It is a general name given to all wastes except liquid waste. It includes all putrescible and non-putrescible wastes. Putrescible means decomposed rapidly by bacteria. Non-putrescible means non-decomposable waste. Garbage. Putrescible wastes resulting from the growing, handling, processing, cooking, and consumption of food, such as vegetables, fruit, bones, bread, etc. Rubbish represents all non-putrescible wastes except ash. There are some other type of definition. There are two categories of rubbish, combustible and non-combustible rubbish. Combustible means organic in nature and includes items such as paper, cardboard, wood, yard clippings, bedding, plastic, etc. Non-combustibles are the inorganic materials which include metals, glass, ceramics, and other minerals. Ashes are an incombustible material that remains after a fuel or solid waste has been burned. Infectious diseases. This is an important category. These are the wastes that contain or carry pathogenic organisms. It was one of the questions in your assignment. What is the meaning of pathogenic? Pathogenic means can carry diseases. It can be microorganisms, viruses, and some other living organism. So, infection wastes are the wastes that contain or carry pathogenic organism in part or in a whole, such as wastes from hospitals, biological laboratories, which are soiled with blood or body fluids. These are grouped as a part of infectious wastes and should be taken care appropriately. Special wastes. There is also a group of waste. They are categorized in the group of special waste. These are the wastes from residential and commercial sources that can include bulky items, consumer electronics, and white goods. Bulky items, they are large, worn out, or broken household, commercial or industrial items like furniture, lamps, bookcases, filing cabinets. Consumer electronics includes worn out, broken, and no longer wanted items such as radios, stereos, and TV sets. These are electronics. White goods. These are large, worn out, broken household, commercial, and industrial appliances such as stoves, refrigerators, dishwashers, clothes washers, and dryers. Now I would like to carry on with some additional definition which is related with the types of solid waste. Food waste, paper, cardboard, plastics, textile, rubber, they are called organic waste. And the other group is inorganic waste, and glass, crockery like cups, plate, tin cans, aluminum, and other metals are grouped in the inorganic waste. Classification of the waste according to their nature. Wastes are classified into two types according to their nature, solid waste or liquid waste. Solid waste, as you can understand from the name, they are solid or semi-solid substances left behind the ordinary human day-to-day and other activities and are disposed of at source as residues of no value because they are not considered toward keeping. As we mentioned, there is no value, they need to be discarded. So examples of solid waste, plastics, styrofoam containers, bottles, cans, papers, scrap iron, and other trash. Liquid wastes are the remains of daily activities in liquid form, such as wastewater, industrial effluents, and agricultural drainage. Sediments known as sludge resulting from the sanitary wastewater and industrial effluent treatment processes constitute the solid strand of these liquid wastes. Examples of liquid wastes are domestic washings, chemicals, oils, waste from ponds, wastewater from ponds, manufacturing industries, and other sources. So these wastes are in liquid form. There is another classification. This classification based on the effect of this waste on human health and environment. So based on this, there are two classifications: hazardous waste, non-hazardous waste. Substances unsafe to use commercially, industrially, agriculturally, or economically that are shipped, transported to, or brought from the country of origin for dumping or disposal in, or transit route are classified as a hazardous waste. Very similarly, explanation of non-hazardous substances safe to use commercially, industrially, and agriculturally, and this is the way how they come from other sources or which purpose. So main differences is hazardous. Hazardous substances are not safe to use. Non-hazardous are safe to use and there is no harm on human health and environment. Classification of wastes according to their properties. Biodegradable waste. They can be degraded. Paper, wood, fruits, and others can be biologically degraded material. Non-biodegradable, that cannot be degraded, which are plastics, bottles, old machines, cans, some styrofoam containers, and others. Another classification is the classification of solid waste based on the source of generation. Solid waste can be coming and classified based on source as a municipal waste, industrial waste, construction waste, healthcare waste, agricultural waste, and waste from other different sources. Municipal solid waste or garbage comes from residential units alongside commercial service, educational and health facilities, streets, gardens, markets, hotels, and recreational places. It also covers waste of small factories and camps. Municipal solid waste, commonly known as trash or garbage, is a waste type consisting of everyday items we consume and discard at source, as residue has no value. They come from residential units like the homes, villas where we live, commercial places, service, educational places like schools, health facilities, hospitals, streets, gardens, market, hotels, and recreational places. The source of this waste goes into municipal solid waste category. The collection of municipal solid waste is performed by the municipality within a given area, and usually this kind of solid waste in either solid or semi-solid form. What are the contents of municipal solid waste? You can find in the municipal solid waste food scraps, yard trimmings, containers, packaging, paper, glass, metals, plastics, textile products, wood pallets, and rubber tiles. So composition is really varying. There are lots of different items can be part of the municipal solid waste. However, municipal solid waste doesn't include the following: construction and demolition debris, automobile bodies, sewage sludge, industrial process wastes, and agricultural wastes. Industrial solid waste means a type of solid waste generated by manufacturing or industrial operation. Industrial solid waste resulting from medium and large-scale industrial activities containing hazardous ingredients such as chemicals and heavy metals. Industrial solid waste resulting from the following manufactural processes. I will not read all of them, but I will give some of them as an example. In your free time, please go through them. Electric power generation, iron and steel manufacturing, pulp and paper industry. Construction and demolition waste is another type of waste generated from construction and demolition processes. Construction waste consists of unwanted materials produced directly or incidentally by the construction. This includes building materials such as insulation, nails, electrical wiring, as well as waste originating from site preparations such as dredging materials, tree stumps, and rubble. Construction waste may contain lead, asbestos, and some other hazardous substances too. Healthcare waste is defined as total waste stream from a healthcare facility. Healthcare waste from hospitals, health service units such as dispensaries, polyclinics, medical centers, pharmaceutical laboratories, veterinary units, which produce both household-like waste and high-risk waste. The waste coming from the healthcare facilities is around 75 to 90% is similar to domestic waste. This fraction is referred to as healthcare general waste, which is made of paper, plastic packaging, food preparation, and some others. They haven't been in contact with the patients. 10 to 25% of the healthcare waste is infectious and hazardous waste that requires special treatment. This fraction referred to as healthcare risk waste that pose both human health and environmental risks. If these two basic categories of waste are not segregated, properly, the entire volume of healthcare waste must be considered as being infectious according to the precautionary principle, hence the importance of setting up a safe and integrated waste management system. They have to be segregated initially in a safe format. Exposure to health care waste can result in disease or injury. The hazardous nature of healthcare waste may be due to one or more of the following characteristics. This is the risky part. This is the hazardous part of the healthcare. It contains infectious agents, it contains sharps, it contains hazardous chemicals or pharmaceuticals, and it is genotoxic, and sometimes it is radioactive. Another group of waste is the agricultural waste. Agricultural waste resulting from various farming activities, which includes agricultural crop remains, suitable for recycling, the production of energy, or animal feed and fertilizers. Pesticides residues, agricultural fertilizers, which are regarded as hazardous waste and therefore require safer method of handling. Animal manure and sludge of sewage pits and sanitary wastewater tanks. Recently and lastly, I would like to speak about the physical properties of the waste. Composition of the municipal solid waste, analysis of particle size, moisture content, and density of the solid waste identify the physical properties of this solid waste. Physical composition, as it has been mentioned before, it can be formed by wood, glass, plastics, metals, yard waste, and some other materials. They are physically different components of the solid waste. The size of the component materials in the solid waste is important in the recovery of materials with mechanical means, such as screen and magnetic separators. So particle size is important when it is come to recovery processes. The moisture content of a solid waste is usually expressed as the mass of moisture per unit mass of the dry material, and it can be calculated by using the following formula given on the slide. To obtain the moisture content and dry mass, the solid waste material is dried in an oven at 77 centigrade degree for 24 hours. So this temperature and time is used to dehydrate the material completely and the limit for vaporization of the volatile materials. So after this heating process, material left over is called as a dry mass. Typical densities of various wastes are usually available in the literature. Because of the densities of solid waste vary markedly in geographical location, season of the year, the length of the time in storage, great care should be used in selecting these typical values. Finally, I would like to end today's lecture with explaining chemical composition. If solid wastes are to be used as a fuel, the four most important properties to be known. Proximate analysis should be done, fusing point of ash should be identified, ultimate analysis of percent carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen, sulfur, and ash content should be identified, and the heating value, that means energy value, should be known. I hope you enjoyed this new topic as a part of environmental engineering course. See you next lecture.